So what can you learn about IBS from the work of John Sarno and Howard Schubiner? So I started off reading John Sarno's Healing Back Pain, nothing to do with IBS, but it kind of turns out it has everything to do with IBS. I then read Unlearn Your Pain by Howard Schubiner, another fantastic book. And again, nominally it's about pain. I guess IBS is just another type of pain, but it really applies to all chronic conditions, from unexplained chronic conditions, I should say, from chronic fatigue, IBS, chronic pain. And if you're experiencing any of those things, I think this video may well be of help to you. So Howard Schubiner really continued John Sarno's work. Sarno, I think, started way back in the 60s. Schubiner's still around today. You can see him on podcasts and things, even now on YouTube. And Schubiner really highlighted different personality attributes which contribute to chronic symptoms like pain, fatigue, and IBS. So one really common one with that is perfectionists, hyperachievers. And you may not identify as a perfectionist if you don't have this spectacular life or you don't, succeed in everything you do. But that's not actually what perfectionism is. Perfectionism in reality can look like procrastination. You don't do what you want to do because you're so terrified of failure, because nothing's good enough unless it's perfect, that you just do nothing at all. So, you can look like this perfect person doing absolutely everything right, or you can look like this person who's kind of never done what you wanted to do in life. And either one of those patterns is extremely damaging for your nervous system and, can dysregulate your gut and lead to all types of chronic symptoms, especially IBS, because the gut is highly sensitive and is often where these stress patterns come through. Another personality pattern highlighted by Schubiner is people pleasers and helpers. And those are the people who kind of supplicate their own needs and always try and meet the needs of others. So, if you're always finding yourself saying yes to things, even when you don't really want to, because you're worried about hurting someone's feelings, that has an effect on your nervous system. So people who always say yes need to really learn how to assert their boundaries and say no. And that can be very curative for your nervous system. Then we've got like Stoics, and Stoicism's actually got really good press recently. I think it's like Ryan Holiday, is it, who always talks about it and how, it's great to be stoic about life and to not, expect too much and just to kind of roll with the punches, shall we say. And that is great. And acceptance is a key part of healing. But sometimes you can take it too far. And when Stoicism goes too far, it looks like repressed emotions. It looks like not really being in touch with how you feel, because you're just saying, oh, I'm okay. This is just how life is. Roll of eyes, get on with your day. And when you do actually have feelings, they need to be acknowledged. That doesn't mean you have to go on a roller coaster of kind of feeling absolutely everything and buying into your inner narratives, because that can be unhealthy too. But you do have to acknowledge and work through your feelings in order to heal. And Stoicism doesn't always allow for that. And then you've got chronically anxious people. And these are people, always worried about the future. What could go wrong? What will my boss say? What in 2 years if I get made redundant? These type of people who are, creating a kind of disasterizing outlook on life. And these often go in loops, where you really can't turn it off and you can't stop thinking about something. Maybe someone at work said something to you or something, and you've extended that to mean something else. And you're telling yourself a narrative about it. Again, this has an enormous effect on your nervous system and can exacerbate your gut issues. This list is by no means exhaustive, but it does cover the major personality characteristics that I see on a daily basis in my hypnotherapy practice. I have a link to a free personality quiz, which you can find on my website. It's in the comments below. See you next time.